What's up, Wrestlingverse family? Welcome back to the channel where we bring you the biggest news, the most shocking revelations, and all the drama from the world of WWE. If you're not subscribed yet, you need to hit that button right now and turn on those notifications because what Roman Reigns just revealed is absolutely massive. The Tribal Chief has finally broken his silence about Seth Rollins reuniting the Shield, and what he had to say has sent shockwaves through the entire WWE universe. This isn't just Roman commenting on his former brothers, this is Roman revealing the truth behind the reunion, exposing motives, and making it clear exactly how he feels about it. This revelation changes everything we thought we knew about the Shield reunion, and it sets up what could be one of the most explosive confrontations in WWE history. So stick around because we're breaking down every single word Roman said and what it all means. Let's dive in. Alright, Wrestlingverse family, let me give you the full context before we get into Roman's bombshell revelation. A few weeks ago, Seth Rollins shocked the world by reuniting the Shield with new members to take on the Vision. It was an emotional moment that had fans reminiscing about the glory days of the original Shield. But there was one massive question hanging over the whole situation. What does Roman Reigns think about this? The Tribal Chief, the original powerhouse of the Shield, the man who has evolved into WWE's top star and leader of the bloodline, had remained completely silent about Seth's decision to reform their iconic faction. That silence has now been broken. Roman Reigns sat down for an exclusive interview that has just been released, and he held absolutely nothing back. The OTC was calm, calculated, and brutally honest about what he really thinks of Seth's Shield reunion. And trust me, what he said is going to change everything. Roman started by acknowledging the history and legacy of the Shield. He talked about how he, Seth, and Dean created something special, something that changed WWE forever. They were brothers, they were unstoppable, and they built a legacy that will never be forgotten. But then Roman's tone shifted, and that's when things got real. The Tribal Chief made it crystal clear that Seth Rollins does not have the right to reform the Shield without him. Roman said that the Shield was built on 3 equal members, but he was always the muscle, always the enforcer, always the one who made it truly dominant. Without Roman Reigns, the Shield is just a name, just a memory, just an imitation. Roman called out Seth specifically for betraying him all those years ago. He reminded everyone that Seth was the one who broke up the original Shield by smashing a chair across his back. Seth destroyed their brotherhood, shattered their bond, and chose his own ambitions over family. And now Seth wants to use the Shield name like nothing happened. The Tribal Chief didn't hold back on his feelings about the new members either. Roman said that while he respects them as competitors, they have no right to wear that Shield tactical gear, to use that entrance, or to claim that legacy. They didn't build the Shield. They didn't live through the wars, the victories, and the brotherhood that defined the original faction. Roman made a powerful statement that has everyone talking. The Shield died when Seth betrayed us, and I'm not going to let him resurrect it for his own purposes. He said that Seth is using the Shield name because he's desperate, because he needs help against the Vision, and because he knows that the Shield brand carries weight that his own name doesn't anymore. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Roman revealed that Seth actually reached out to him before forming the new Shield. Seth wanted Roman to join him, wanted the Tribal Chief to leave the bloodline and reform their old faction. And Roman turned him down flat. He told Seth that he's evolved beyond the Shield, that he's built something greater with the bloodline. Roman explained his reasoning in a way that makes complete sense from his perspective. He said the Shield was about 3 equals, but he's no longer interested in being equal. He's the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the undisputed champion. Why would he step down from that position to be 1/3 of a faction again? It makes no business sense. The Tribal Chief also addressed the elephant in the room, the potential confrontation between the bloodline and the new Shield. Roman made it clear that if Seth wants to use the Shield name, if he wants to claim that legacy, then eventually he's going to have to prove it. And that means going through Roman Reigns himself. Roman's words about family were particularly powerful. He talked about how the bloodline represents his actual blood family, the Anoa dynasty that has given wrestling some of its greatest stars. The Shield was a chosen family, brothers by bond rather than blood. But Roman made it clear that blood is thicker than water, and his real family will always come first. The tribal chief also dropped a hint about future plans. He said that when the time is right, when Seth's new Shield thinks they're at the top, that's when the bloodline will remind everyone who truly runs WWE. It wasn't a threat, it was a promise. Roman and the bloodline versus Seth, and the new Shield is coming, and it's going to be war. Now let's talk about why Roman's revelation is so significant. First, it adds layers to the Shield reunion that we didn't have before. Knowing that Seth reached out to Roman and was rejected changes the entire dynamic. Seth didn't just randomly decide to reform the Shield, he was desperate enough to ask Roman to come back. Roman's refusal to join also validates his character evolution. The tribal chief has been consistent in his messaging. He's evolved, he's grown beyond who he used to be, and he's not going back. Turning down the Shield reunion proves he's committed to his current path and his current family. The tension this creates between Roman and Seth is incredible. These are two men who were once brothers, who achieved greatness together, but who are now on completely different paths. Roman leads the bloodline on SmackDown, Seth leads the new Shield on Raw, and collision seems inevitable. The WWE Universe's reaction to Roman's revelation has been absolutely insane. Social media exploded the moment the interview dropped. Fans are divided between those who support Roman's perspective and those who think he's being too prideful. The debate has been fierce and passionate. Many fans are praising Roman for his honesty and consistency. They argue that he's right. He has evolved beyond the Shield, and going back would be a step backward for his character. The tribal chief doesn't need the Shield needed the tribal chief. His refusal to join maintains his position as WWE's top star. Other fans are sympathetic to Seth's position. They understand why he wanted to reform the Shield, why he reached out to Roman, and why the rejection might have hurt. Seth is facing a dangerous faction in the Vision, and having Roman by his side would have made things easier. But Roman said no, forcing Seth to find another way. Fellow WWE superstars have been weighing in on Roman's comments too. Some bloodline members have publicly supported Roman's decision, praising his loyalty to family. Others have stayed neutral, not wanting to get caught between two legendary factions. The locker room dynamics are getting increasingly complicated. Let's talk about what this means for the inevitable clash between the bloodline and the new Shield. When these two factions eventually collide, the stakes will be enormous. It's not just about winning a match. It's about legacy, it's about pride, and it's about proving which version of brotherhood is stronger. Roman's comments also put pressure on Seth and his new Shield members. They now have to prove that they deserve to use that name, that they can live up to the legacy, and that they don't need Roman Reigns to be successful. That's a huge burden, but it's also a great story to tell. The family aspect that Roman emphasized adds emotional depth to this situation. The Shield was about chosen family, brothers who selected each other. The bloodline is about blood family, about honoring heritage and dynasty. These two philosophies will clash, and fans will be invested in seeing which one prevails. What's particularly brilliant about Roman's revelation is that it doesn't close any doors. Yes, he turned down Seth's invitation, but things can change. What if the new Shield proves themselves? What if circumstances force Roman to reconsider? What if there's a threat so big that both factions must unite? The possibilities remain open. The business implications of this situation are huge. A match between the bloodline and the new Shield would be one of the biggest events WWE could produce. Imagine a War Games match with these two factions. Picture a Survivor Series elimination match. Think about the build-up, the promos, the drama. It's money. Roman's interview also showcases his evolution as a performer. The way he articulated his position, the confidence in his delivery, the way he commanded respect even through a camera. This is why Roman Reigns is WWE's top star. He understands his character completely and presents it perfectly. The timing of this revelation is also strategic. By addressing it now, WWE is building anticipation for future confrontations. Fans know the collision is coming, they know the tension exists, and they'll tune in every week hoping to see the next development. That's how you maintain interest and drive viewership. Seth Rollins will have to respond to Roman's comments. How does Seth defend his decision to reform the Shield without Roman? Does he accept that he needs to prove himself worthy of the name? Does he fire back at Roman and challenge him? Seth's response will be crucial to how this story develops. The new Shield members are also affected by Roman's words. They now know that the original tribal chief doesn't approve of them wearing that gear and using that name. They have to prove to Roman, to WWE, and to fans that they belong. That pressure creates compelling television. What makes this situation even more interesting is that both men have valid points. Roman is right that he's evolved beyond the Shield and that the bloodline represents his true family. Seth is right that the Shield name and legacy can inspire others and represent rebellion against tyranny. There's no clear right or wrong, which makes for nuanced storytelling. The historical significance of this moment shouldn't be overlooked. The Shield is one of the most important factions in WWE history. How WWE handles the reunion, Roman's response, and the eventual confrontation will be studied and discussed for years. This is legacy-defining storytelling. Looking ahead, the path to a Bloodline versus New Shield match is now clear. Roman has drawn a line in the sand. Seth has assembled his team. The vision provides an immediate threat that could force circumstances. All the pieces are in place for something truly spectacular. Roman's revelation also protects the Shield's legacy. By making it clear that you can't just throw together any three people and call them the Shield, WWE is respecting what the original faction meant. The name has weight, and Roman's comments reinforce that weight. Alright, Wrestling vs. Family, that's the complete breakdown of Roman Reigns revealing the truth behind Seth Rollins' Shield reunion. The tribal chief has spoken, the lines have been drawn, and we're heading toward what could be the most explosive faction warfare WWE has seen in years. Now I need to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with Roman's perspective or Seth's? Should Roman have joined the new Shield? What do you want to see happen when these two factions collide? Let's discuss. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on every development in this incredible storyline, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm push our content to more wrestling fans. And if you're not subscribed to Wrestling vs. CC, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Share this video with your wrestling friends so everyone knows what Roman said about the Shield reunion. This is going to be one of the biggest stories in WWE, and we're covering every moment. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling vs. Family. The tribal chief has spoken, and the wrestling world will never be the same. Until next time, acknowledge your tribal chief, stay passionate, and keep being the best wrestling fans in the world. Peace.